This is Part 1 Episode 44. What he didn't see was that Jiang Nan Nan vomited blood and collapsed the moment she tossed him away. Jiang Nan Nan didn't have many flash points during this season's competition. However, did that mean she wasn't powerful? No, she was only low profile by nature. She was chosen by Elder Xian to become one of the reserve team members, and shared the same status with Xu Sanxia. Could it be because she was pretty? One should take a look at her 4 soul skills. Jiang Nannan's 4 soul skills were waist bow, gravity control, instant teleportation, and invincible golden body. The waist bow was a relatively normal soul skill, but the other 3 remaining soul skills rivaled even the mysterious netherworld displacement, and could achieve miraculous effects when used appropriately. What was the invincible golden body about? Xiao Wu from the first generation of Shrek's 7 monsters had used this soul skill before. Jiang Nannan's martial soul was similar to hers, and even some of her soul skills were no different either. Dai Yueheng's strike crashed downwards within that moment of hesitation. How could Dai Yueheng not be despondent? There had already been 2 important rounds in the competition. It was Hui Yuhao and Wang Dong's sudden explosion that had broke the impasse and forcibly turned the tides. It was Jiang Nan Nan, who had appeared in front of him in a split second in this round and blocked his opponent's fatal strike. Furthermore, both his father and the emperor were watching from the top of the city wall, and this was the finals. He was a soul emperor, and he let a soul ancestor step in front of him, and this intense stifling sensation that he felt was better off not mentioned. Yet, he also understood that he would have been severely injured if not for Jiang Nan Nan. He swallowed all of this, and this was the reason why his white tiger's extermination could be said to be his best effort. The judge was there anyway, and he never even considered whether he might end up murdering his opponent. Xiao Hongchen's 5th soul ring sparkled as the terrifying soul skill was about to hit him. At this point, he no longer dared to use his impregnable wall, which was much more practical than the invincible barrier, as he could clearly feel from the petrifying aura looming over him that he wouldn't be able to maintain the impregnable wall to fend off his opponent's assault even if he emptied the rest of his soul power. Therefore, even as a soul engineer, he still resorted to soul skills at this crucial moment. The white tiger's claws flashed by, while Xiao Hongchen's body seemed to instantly melt. He simply transformed into a sphere of dark golden liquid, then slid down to the ground. The white tiger's extermination also instantly landed on this sphere of liquid. Dai Yueheng's strike was formidable, and his maniacal and devastating aura reached the highest possible level in an instant, and the liquid that Xiao Hongchen had transformed into was slashed apart into pieces, as it exploded in all directions like fine powder. However, just as the liquid touched the ground, it spread out in all directions with bedazzling speed, and the dark golden liquid merely looked a little singed when it came out of the prison of lightning. While Xiao Hongchen was seriously wounded, Ma Xiaodao made an unexpected decision on the other side. Shrek Academy's team leader chose to go on the offensive instead of defending herself under her opponent's barrage of attacks. She flew backwards like a bolt of lightning as she raised her right arm, and a searing ball of dark red flame congregated and transformed into a black phoenix before it shot out. At the same time, she leapt down from the competition stage in the nick of time in the face of her opponent's attacks. The Black Phoenix's target of choice wasn't the enormous ape, and neither was it the strongest of them all, Ma Rulong. The Black Phoenix's speed wasn't fast at all, but Michael's lightning pearls strangely disappeared the moment the Black Phoenix collided with them. When the Black Phoenix clashed against Chen Fei's metal balls, they dissipated into nothingness as well, and these soul tools weren't able to unleash their full potential before they were vaporized entirely. The fiery Black Phoenix's aura was just too frightening, and its first target was Chen Fei. Chen Fei just launched his attack and was standing next to the bloodthirsty demon ape, and he never thought that Ma Xiaodao would go after him. His body flickered as he attempted to dodge the assault from the Black Phoenix. The flaming Black Phoenix's surface area wasn't big, and neither was it fast from his perspective. His lightning bird's speed wasn't something that could be threatened by the Black Phoenix. It was a pity that his judgment was erroneous. The Black Phoenix wasn't that large, and it wasn't that fast either. However, just as Chen Fei was in the midst of evading it, the scorching black flames suddenly exploded outwards. This speed of expansion was simply too fast, and too quick to be registered by the naked eye. Chen Fei's body was swiftly swallowed inside this abrupt expansion. Not all members from the Sun Moon Academy had the status to use automated soul tools like the impregnable wall. The resources required to make that particular soul tool were simply too great. Chen Fei did have the invincible barrier in his possession, but the invincible barrier was a single-instance soul tool, and it was far too valuable. He was confident that he could avoid the attack, and wanted to save it for future use, thus he naturally hadn't unleashed its power. However, by the time he realized something was wrong, it was too late. Ma Rulong exclaimed, "Judge." If the Heaven Fiend Doluor had been paying attention to their side, he could have reached out in time, but it was a pity that the Heaven Fiend Doluor was occupied with Dai Yueheng's strike against Xiao Hongchen. When he heard Ma Rulong's voice and wanted to make a move, it was too late. The crisp and shrill cooing sounds from the phoenix rang out as Chen Fei's fast-moving body was barely scraped by the expanding black flames, before the black flames sped up and surged towards Michael the next moment. Chen Fei's body was still surging forward into the sky, but half his body had disappeared, and his corpse crashed down onto the stage. Michael didn't dare to hold back, as he witnessed Chen Fei's tragedy. He threw out the invincible barrier, in the first possible moment, and attempted to block the Black Phoenix's strike. What he didn't expect was that the Black Phoenix swerved, and finally lunged towards Ma Rulong. Ma Rulong's eyes were flushed red from his fury and hatred, but he had no choice but to use his own invincible barrier. Even though he was also a Soul Emperor, he knew that there was no other soul tool in his arsenal besides the invincible barrier that could defend him against Ma Xiaotao's attack. Boom, the blistering red flames detonated in the sky, and a dark red mushroom-shaped cloud burst into the air from the collision. Only in the initial elimination rounds had people died in this season's Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Soul Dueling Tournament. There were individuals who were grievously injured in the subsequent rounds, but there had been no other casualties under the judges' watchful eyes yet. There had been 2 participants from the Sun Moon Empire's team who perished in battle during today's battle, even though it was refereed by a titled Doluor. Lin Shi's situation could still be counted as an accident, but the Heaven Fiend Doluor truly couldn't save Chen Fei in time. The vigor and intensity of this battle only went to show how ferocious both parties could be in their attacks. Ma Xiaodao tossed Xu Sancha aside, and Wang Yang supported him as he shifted him to the side without attempting to wake him up. Hu Yuhao quickly placed both of his hands onto Ma Xiaotao's back. He activated the Ice Empress pincer, and his mysterious jade hands to amplify his powers, as he pressed his hands onto her back, and 2 streams of steam erupted as they crackled loudly. Ma Xiaotao's clothes instantly vaporized in the shape of 2 palm prints, where Hu Yuhao came into contact with them. Compared to the last 2 times, where Hu Yuhao had suppressed the evil fire passively for her, he did so actively this time. He was also in peak condition. Ma Xiaodao had also initiated her evil fire without any hesitation, because he was around. Along the way, minor changes started to occur between their ice and fire. While these weird changes occurred between them, the group match ended on the competition stage. Meng Hongchen saved Xiao Hongchen and retreated quickly. On the other side, the surviving Team Sun Moon members were going crazy after another of their members was killed. Ma Rulong led the rest as they unleashed their strongest soul tools. They mounted a relentless attack on Shrek's team, who were caught in a net of lightning. Xu Sancha and Ma Xiaodao had left the stage, while Jiang Nannan had lost the strength to compete further because of her critical injuries. Only Dai Yueheng, Ling Luochen, Bei Bei and He Kai Tu were left. Bei Bei shouted suddenly as the opponent unleashed all their soul tools, "Referee, we concede defeat." The Heaven Fiend Doluor did not feel well at this point. As the referee, he was very concerned about his own reputation, even though he didn't care about the 2 Sun Moon members who had died. That was why he was very focused. Bei Bei's shout caused him to descend to the center of the competition stage. A ball of bright light shone from the Heaven Fiend Doluor at this point. 9 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black, shone brightly. He used his right hand to guide a wave of proud and noble aura as it was unleashed. A white star appeared in front of him, and starlight instantly spread. It turned into a huge barrier that segregated the competition stage and blocked off the Sun Moon team's attack. It was impossible for a Class 5, 6 or 7 soul tools to hurt a titled Doluor. Furthermore, the Heaven Fiend Doluor had powers that were very close to a transcendent Doluor. Dai Yueheng turned and stared at Bei Bei furiously. "Why did you shout so randomly? We hadn't lost. We could have still continued competing." Bei Bei creased his brows and said, "Senior, this is Teacher Wang's strategy. We're to follow his strategy. But victory is right in front of our eyes." Dai Yueheng roared back. Bei Bei sighed. "Do you really think that we can beat the 4 of them with just the 4 of us alone? I couldn't have resisted that blow earlier. Do you think that any one of us could have?" Dai Yueheng really wanted to impress his father. He knew what Bei Bei was saying was true. After all, he was the White Tiger Duke's eldest son. He calmed down after a temporary outburst of emotion and nodded at Bei Bei. Sorry, I was too impulsive. It's because I'm feeling bad that Jiang Nan Nan took that blow for me. Bei Bei smiled and revealed a set of white teeth. It's fine. You'll have a chance to shine later. Both teams, please calm down, Huang Jinshu said coldly. Victory has already been decided. If anyone acts recklessly, don't blame me for being unkind. The teacher in charge of the Sun Moon team had also turned pale, but remained calm. He scolded his team members, which stopped Ma Rulong and the rest from acting recklessly. Huang Jinshu turned to the direction of the city wall and said in low voice, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy has won the team round. Both teams, you have 1 minute to readjust. After 1 minute, the 1v1 round will begin. At the same time, please choose your 7 members for the individual round. Once decided, no further changes can be made. Shrek Academy had lost. The entire Star Luo Plaza descended into silence. In the next moment, there was an uproar again. Although many knew that Shrek's team was inferior to the Sun Moon Soul Academy's team in this tournament, everyone was still feeling incredulous that they had lost this team round. They were all awaiting a miracle from Shrek. But no miracle happened. In the end, Shrek had actually lost. They didn't even hold on to the end. Some of the agitated spectators started to curse furiously, and the entire Star Luo Plaza was now in chaos, silence. A mighty and sonorous voice rang across the entire venue at this point. The commotion in the huge plaza was restrained by this furious roar. It was the White Tiger Duke. He held a sound-amplifying soul tool in his hand and said in a deep voice, both teams have already done their best. Victory and failure are very common. Those who hurl insults at the competing members will be found and severely punished. As the commander of the military for many years, Dai Hao's simple words were filled with a mighty aura. He controlled the situation just like that. His mighty aura even pressed Hu Yuhao, who was helping Ma Xiaodao suppress her evil fire, to look up to the city wall. His mood and the expression in his eyes were very complex. As a guy who would not hope that their father was a hero and their pride. But he had never enjoyed paternal love before. He only had hatred for this father, who he had not even seen before he left the Duke's mansion. Yes, he ruined his mother's chastity. His mother's victimization was because of him. But he was so valiant and powerful. No wonder Hu Yuhao's mother didn't regret giving birth to him because of Dai Hao. Hu Yuhao's psychological mindset was not as twisted as it was when he had left the Duke's mansion, after learning and cultivating in Shrek Academy for the past year or so. But his hatred for the White Tiger Duke and those in the Duke's mansion, who victimized his mother, had never waned. Mom, this is who you loved before. He is outstanding, but it's precisely because of this that he hurt you so badly. Mom, don't worry. One day, I will stand before him and exact revenge for you. He's my father and gave me life, thus I won't kill him. But I will make him repent as he kneels in front of your grave. As a guy who would not hope that their father was a hero and their pride. But he had never enjoyed paternal love before. He only had hatred for this father, who he had not even seen before he left the Duke's mansion. Yes, he ruined his mother's chastity. His mother's victimization was because of him. But he was so valiant and powerful. No wonder Hu Yuhao's mother didn't regret giving birth to him because of Dai Hao. Hu Yuhao's psychological mindset was not as twisted as it was when he had left the Duke's mansion, after learning and cultivating in Shrek Academy for the past year or so. But his hatred for the White Tiger Duke and those in the Duke's mansion, who victimized his mother, had never waned. Mom, this is who you loved before. He is outstanding, but it's precisely because of this that he hurt you so badly. Mom, don't worry. One day, I will stand before him and exact revenge for you. He's my father and gave me life, thus I won't kill him. But I will make him repent as he kneels in front of your grave. Mom, I will find you after the tournament is over. Bless me, so that I can grow up quickly. Mom, I miss you so much. His eyes welled up unwittingly, and he didn't even realize Ma Xiaodao looking at him. Younger brother, what's wrong? Ma Xiaodao asked softly. What? Hu Yuhao only regained awareness now, and he shook his head slightly. Elder sister, I'm fine. Ma Xiaodao smiled and said, that's great then. I'm fine already. Quickly regain your soul power. You may be needed later. Everyone had descended from the stage right now. Bei Bei carried the unconscious Jiang Nan Nan as he returned to the waiting area. Wang Yang rushed forward. There were already healing-type soul masters from the Star Luo Empire coming forward to administer treatment. As men were different from ladies, and the individual round was about to begin, Wang Yang let Xiao Xiao tend to Jiang Nan Nan temporarily. After that, he reported the 7 names he wanted to send out for the individual round. These 7 were Ma Xiaodao, Dai Yueheng, Bei Bei, Xu Sansha, Ling Luo Chen, Hu Yuhao and Wang Dong. Yes, both Hu Yuhao and Wang Dong were being sent out for the individual round. Xu Sansha was woken up by Ling Luo Chen using the ice element, Nan Nan, Nan Nan. Xu Sansha couldn't help but scream as he regained consciousness. His soul power surged out ferociously. Calm down. Bei Bei slapped him, and Xu Sansha only calmed down because of that. Xu Sansha very soon found Jiang Nan Nan, who was in Xiao Xiao's arms. His body was even trembling because he was too agitated. Xu Sansha was more than a little frantic as he asked, "How is she? How is she?" Wang Yang came to his side, patted his shoulder and said in a deep voice, "Her injury is very serious, but her life won't be in any danger. Sansha, do you want to avenge her?" Xu Sansha turned around suddenly, of course. His voice sounded different, because he replied with great enthusiasm. Wang Yang nodded and said, "I shall give you a chance. You'll be the first in the individual round." "Good. I will go up and destroy them." As he spoke, Xu Sansha received a milk bottle from Wang Yang. He shut his eyes quickly, and regained the soul power that he had depleted earlier. For today's final, Wang Yang had specially bought a few more milk bottles in the 2 days of preparation. Everyone had one of them now, and used them to regain their soul power quickly. The individual round was about to start. Wang Yang was very calm. Although he seemed lethargic, he had a resolute look in his eyes. Yes, the loss in the team round was part of his plan. Shrek was inferior in terms of overall abilities. The Sun Moon team was made up of powerful soul engineers, and they had the most advanced soul tools among those of the same rank. They were undoubtedly the strongest as a team. This meant that they would be most powerful in the team round. If they clashed head-on, Shrek's chances of success wouldn't be greater than 30%, and so Wang Yang had decisively chosen to give up victory in the team round without knowledge of Xiao Hongchen and Meng Hongchen's abilities. His strategy was very simple. In the team round, all his team members were supposed to conserve. Only Jiang Nan Nan and He Kai-tu would unleash their awe, because they wouldn't be in the individual round. They only had one target in the team round: hurt as many of their opponents as possible. It's important to note that today's finals would be completed in one go. While the Sun Moon team was very powerful, they had a limited number of Soul Kings too. Wang Yang also didn't expect Xiao Hongchen and Meng Hongchen to be Soul Kings, but even still, the Sun Moon team only had 9 Soul Kings. If one was taken down, only 8 would be left. Reality proved that Wang Yang's strategy had succeeded. Lin Shi and Chen Fei's deaths were not part of his plan, but a Ma Xiaodao who gave her all was too scary. She couldn't be merciful at all in this final. Along with a little accident, she actually killed 2 Class 5 Soul Kings. At the same time, she depleted several invincible barriers. More importantly, Xiao Hongchen was severely injured. He was unlikely to participate in the rest of the matches. Out of the 9 Soul Kings, 2 were killed and 1 was heavily injured. Team Sun Moon was very restricted in who they could send out. This would be very disadvantageous for the later segments of the final. However, the blow that Jiang Nan Nan took for Dai Yueheng wasn't within Wang Yang's plan. But he could understand Jiang Nanan's painstaking intention. Although Jiang Nan Nan was never a phony in front of Xu Sansha, she was clear that she might bring Xu Sansha down. That's why she took the blow for him without any hesitation. It's important to know that her life might have been lost if her invincible golden body couldn't hold on long enough. But she still dashed forward and managed to achieve the best result. Xu Sansha was agitated, and his internal strength was half awakened. It was also her efforts that caused Xiao Hongchen to be critically injured. It was even fair to say that Shrek's team had executed Wang Yang's plan better than expected. Ma Xiaodao made the greatest contribution in this team round. Without her, this result would not have been achieved. Even so, Wang Yang did not think that Jiang Nan Nan made the second greatest contribution. He thought that it was Bei Bei who did so, after he shouted that Shrek conceded defeat at the last moment. What's being able to see the bigger picture? It's the ability to make the correct choice, after judging the situation at the most critical moment. Bei Bei had shouted at the right time. The remaining 4 from the Sun Moon team were still very powerful, and they were also very far away from them. Their soul tools could still be preserved in their best states. Even though Dai Yueheng got closer eventually, the bloodthirsty demon ape that Ma Rulong had summoned wouldn't be easy to deal with. Or at least, it couldn't be dealt with in a short period of time. Shrek wouldn't have been able to achieve victory in that situation. Since this was the case, they should conserve their powers and use them in the individual round. Dai Yueheng was the one who was supposed to concede defeat, but it was obvious that he had lost control of his emotions. Wang Yang was more impressed with Bei Bei, as he was able to do what Dai Yueheng couldn't. Both teams had to decide their sequence before the individual round started and relay them to the referee. This was to ensure fairness. Wang Yang had already prepared his list earlier on and passed it to Huang Jinshu. As 2 members had been killed and 1 member was severely injured, the teacher in charge of the Sun Moon team had to make changes. This left him extremely frantic. No, I have to compete. I must compete. If I don't, I won't be present for the 2-2-3 fight either. Damn it, I'm too cowardly. Xiao Hongchen was still squawking even though he was heavily injured. He wasn't very bothered by the 2 official team members' deaths. He was not very good at interpersonal relationships, and those 2 official team members didn't like him either. But he was feeling indignant. Xiao Hongchen had been recognized as the top talent in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy's entire history. His talent didn't just make him a soul engineer, but also an outstanding soul master. He could even perfectly combine these 2 together. Both he and Meng Hongchen weren't sent to compete earlier, because they were kept to deal with Shrek Academy later on. But who knew that he would embarrass himself the first time he revealed himself? His all-out offense was blocked by a ravishing lady. What was even more unfortunate for him was that he was wrenched into the air by that same lady using her feet. Eventually, he was heavily injured by Dai Yueheng. He was totally embarrassed even before he did anything. How could he not feel depressed? Xiao Hongchen's identity on the Sun Moon team was very sensitive. Their teacher didn't dare to let him take a risk. After he was critically injured and 2 of the other students were killed, he quickly withdrew Xiao Hongchen's participation from the tournament and replaced him with another preparatory team member. What could Xiao Hongchen do? Xiao Hongchen still wanted to turn the tide and reveal himself in front of everyone. If he left it just like that, it would be an absolute farce for him. That was why he was unwilling to be substituted just like that. As he was treated by the healing-type soul masters, he debated with his teacher. He was unwilling to disqualify himself. The teacher said in a deep voice, "Xiao Hongchen, calm down. Don't forget what you mean to our academy. If something happens to you, how can I account to the hallmaster?" Xiao Hongchen raged, "I don't need you to account to anyone. Isn't my sister here? If I really die in battle, she'll explain it to my grandfather. I don't care, I have to compete. Don't blame me for complaining to my grandfather if you don't let me compete." Meng Hongchen was a little annoyed as she said, "Teacher, just let him compete if you have no choice. At most, we'll not let him fight in the individual round. I think 6 of us is enough. If we can't and lose, my brother and I can unleash our full strength together for the 2-2-3 fight. He can also use the time for the individual round to recover a little. Although I hate to admit it, it's partly accidental that 2 seniors were killed just now." The teacher creased his brows. These 2 fellows were very troublesome. Only after the Heaven Fiend Doluo urged him for a line-up did he say helplessly, "Very well then. Even if we lose in the individual round, you can't compete. At most, you can pair with Meng Hongchen in the 2-2-3 fight." "Okay." Xiao Hongchen agreed forthrightly. He also knew his own condition. He couldn't recover so fast from the White Tiger's extermination attacks that were unleashed onto him. With some time from the individual round, he believed that he could regain a part of his true powers. With his sister around, he was sure he could achieve something in this final. It was definitely better than watching from below the stage. The Sun Moon team's competing members and their sequence for the individual round were decided just like that. Ma Rulong had expended a lot of his powers earlier, and couldn't be the first to compete. The first to be sent up was an official team member that had been substituted by Meng Hongchen and Xiao Hongchen earlier on. After that, it was another official team member that had been substituted. Following these 2, it was Michael, Meng Hongchen, and Ma Rulong followed by Xiao Hongchen. There was a reason why Meng Hongchen was among the first few to be sent up. Since Wang Yang had already arranged everything, there were no changes on Shrek's side. Shu Sansha was the first to enter the fray. He would be followed by Bei Bei, Ling Luochen, Dai Yueheng, Ma Xiaodao, Wang Dong and Hui Yuhao. Without a doubt, the first 5 were the main forces for this individual round, while Hui Yuhao and Wang Dong were the icing on the cake. One of them had 3 rings while the other had 2 rings. Wang Yang included them in the lineup with eyes on the 2-2-3 fight. If the 2 of them were paired along a Soul Emperor, it would be a great choice. Their martial soul fusion skill couldn't be underestimated, even though they weren't that powerful individually. Wang Yang didn't send them out in the team round, because of his arrangement for Shrek to lose the team round, and also because he wanted to conceal their true abilities. Wang Yang might not have even sent them to compete for today's final, if not for Hui Yuhao and Wang Dong's incessant pleas. He wanted to protect them. In 5 years, they would be the core of Shrek's 7 monsters. The more they revealed themselves now, the better their opponents would understand them. Furthermore, the body sect had already laid their eyes on Hui Yuhao. Wang Yang didn't want them to reveal even more about themselves. But how could Hui Yuhao and Wang Dong not want to compete because of that? Furthermore, there were only 3 possible permutations for Shrek's lineup. After the team battle, they were definitely needed. That's why such an arrangement cropped up. The individual round begins. The first competing member of each team, please enter the stage. From Shrek Academy, we have Shu Sansha. From the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy, we have Li Yang. Shu Sansha did not even use the stairs. He jumped onto the stage from Shrek's waiting area. Even everyone from Shrek felt an unfamiliar sense as they looked at him right now. Shu Sansha often laughed and joked normally. He either pestered Jiang Nan Nan or bickered with Bei Bei. The occasional promise that he showed wouldn't hold up either. But now, his entire person seemed to have changed at this point. He was silent, cold, and even had an indescribable manner to him. This manner could be described as dignified, or could be referred to that of a leader. He was no longer like a youth now. He was more like an adult, one that was very aloof and competitive. Through closer observation, one could notice a subtle undulation of black gas flowing around him even though he had not unleashed his martial soul. There was even a dense, gentle ripple that moved with a slight rhythm around his body. He wore a deep gaze that was also cold. His entire person seemed to have become a deep valley that sucked people in. This was Shu Sansha in his complete state. He was no longer a soul master who controlled the shield of the Xianming turtle, but the wielder of the Xuanwu shield. He had the strongest defense-type martial soul on the continent. Coincidentally, Shu Sanshi's opponent was a fire-type soul master. Li Yang was originally one of Team Sun Moon's official team members. But his ranking among the 7 official team members should be quite low considering how he could be replaced by Meng Hongchen and Xiao Hongchen. His martial soul wasn't a pure fire element, it possessed many impure sources of deviant fires and impurities. He wouldn't have been powerful enough if he only cultivated as a soul master. That's why he chose to become a soul engineer. He couldn't use his martial soul to provide himself with more soul power to last in battle, but he could use his own deviant fire to supplement all his soul tools with a fire aura through different soul skills. Of course, his fire was much weaker than Ma Xiaotao's Phoenix Flames. But he was still extraordinary to have become a Class 5 soul engineer before he was 20 years old. Both of their gazes crossed as if they were arch-enemies. The Sun Moon team had lost 2 of their members. Normally, they were partners that trained and improved together. Li Yang was filled with hatred now that they had passed on. But Shu Sansha felt even more hatred in his heart compared to them. When he saw the unconscious Jiang Nan Nan, he was rubbed the wrong way, and he now only had one thought on his mind. He had to take revenge for Jiang Nan Nan and defeat his opponent. The Heaven Fiend Doluor didn't say anything much. Instead, he gestured for both of them to step back with an ugly look on his face. But the most chaotic team round was already over. He believed that he had enough focus and energy to monitor every exchange of moves between both teams in future battles. Match, start. Both parties made their move as Huang Jinshu shouted. Li Yang waved his right arm upwards, and a thick soul tool cannon landed on his shoulder. Without even looking, he fired the cannon towards Shu Sansha. A huge fireball was suddenly shot towards Shu Sansha. The fireball carried a series of explosive sounds in the air, distorting the air wherever it passed. His deviant fire wasn't very strong, but it was still very powerful as his soul tool compressed and condensed it. After he injected his soul power into the soul tool, it was almost as if he had created this soul tool himself. Under normal conditions, one's first reaction to this cannon shot would be to dodge it. After Li Yang's soul power was compressed, this cannon shot was rather devastating offensively. The best choice was to dodge it. But Shu Sancha did not dodge. He opened his feet wide and suddenly dashed towards his opponent. His martial soul was also unleashed at the same time. Shu Sanchi's martial soul had the Xuanwu aura as it was unleashed. This was expected by Wang Yang and everyone from Shrek after Shu Sancha was agitated because of Jiang Nan Nan. Another dark green snake appeared on the fine and heavy turtle shield. The snake's eyes were fresh red. A turtle and snake combined. This was the original appearance of a Xuanwu. A black halo spread out from the shield. Shu Sancha seemed to turn entirely black at this point. Against the ball of fire, he performed an extremely domineering action. He swept the Xuanwu shield and used the shield's surface to strike the ball of fire. Under normal conditions, any power released by a soul tool would cause an impact once it collided with something else. This was even more so for a fire-type attack like this. However, what happened next was contrary to everything that everyone knew. When Shu Sanchi's Xuanwu shield struck the ball of fire, the snake eyes flashed with a red light. At the same time, a gentle ripple strangely covered the ball of fire. The ball of fire did blow apart, but it was delayed by a second because of this ripple. But this second was enough to decide many things. The ball of fire was hit more than 10 meters away before it blew apart. The shockwave it produced couldn't reach Shu Sancha. Shu Sancha continued to dash forward in big steps. As his martial soul became the Xuanwu shield, his cultivation had also increased greatly, which meant that he had also become faster. Li Yang did not panic even though his strike achieved nothing. The stage was 100 meters wide. Shu Sancha couldn't dash to the front instantly even if he wanted to. Metal barrels started to appear on his body, and streaks of intense light lit up continuously. Not only this, but the soul tool on his shoulder changed into a huge fire cannon. This fire cannon was not fired towards Shu Sancha directly, but above him. A huge fiery web descended from the sky and engulfed the area in front of Shu Sancha from above. Li Yang had calculated this strike beforehand. If Shu Sancha continued to burst forward, he would be covered by this fire web. If he stopped, it would buy more time for Li Yang to unleash more soul tools against him. Li Yang was waiting for Shu Sancha to delay himself. He could not last, but his explosiveness was great. But that explosiveness of his had to be unleashed at the correct timing too. Just when everyone thought that Shu Sancha would stop in his tracks or go around the web, Shu Sancha made a decision that no one had expected. He did not stop and continued to sprint forward. The fire web covered him. A cold grin appeared on Li Yang's lips. He was sure that Shu Sancha was unaware that this fire web was a soul tool that he had invented. This fire web would restrict the opponent like a cage. However, all of his fire-type attacks could penetrate the fire web, and he could thus continue to attack his opponent. This meant that Shu Sancha would be in deep trouble if he landed inside the fire web. At least this was what Li Yang thought. As the fire web was about to descend and engulf Shu Sanchi's Xuanwu shield was still blocking the attacks of Li Yang's various soul tools, and he couldn't defend against what was above him. At this moment, Shu Sancha stopped in his tracks. He did not even glance at the fire web that descended from the sky as he placed the shield in front of his chest. In the next instant, Li Yang saw 2 spots of red light shining on the Xuanwu shield. After that, he felt that space had distorted. Everything around him seemed to turn illusory. Li Yang couldn't describe this feeling either. He was a little dizzy because of this, and his soul tool attacks also seemed to become very messy and chaotic. This distortion only lasted for a moment before normalcy was restored. In the next instant, Li Yang was appalled. That was because he discovered to his great horror that he was in front of Shu Sancha and the Xuanwu shield. That fire web had only just landed. A dense, black soul power spurted from Shu Sanchi's body. His 3rd and 4th soul rings started to light up. His 3rd soul skill was the mysterious underworld force, while his 4th soul skill was the mysterious underworld displacement. However, everything was different when the shield of Xianming Turtle turned into the Xuanwu shield. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.